but
it
you
was
know
smoked
they
out when she's at the
said
store.
he only smiles once in the movie, and he smiles to Annie.
They are my favorite love story. I love them.
She was like, "Oh, your body has forgotten about me."
Oh God.
Mm,
Mm.
mm.
I also really love Smoke's character as like this really old timey stern war veteran. Like he has this calming nature. Like even though he does not have a child in the physical, he considers himself a father, not only to his child who is no longer living, but also to his brother. He really takes care of him and he looks out for him. Like when he tells Preacher Boy, like in a very serious and stern way, that like, no, watch his back.
Yeah,
because he doesn't know how
trying
to
to
watch
glaze
his
over
own.
his brother's. Like it's like, oh, ha, ha. He's like,
No,
no.
like for real, like watch over him. Like he was serious about that
Yeah.
because like that's like a son to him essentially. I'm Nani.
And I'm Ant.
Join us on Law and Order as we unpack the hottest topics, trending lawsuits, and media buzz.
Take a listen as we cut through the noise to reveal facts and what is really going on.
Tune in for sharp insights and a fresh take on today's stories.
Follow us everywhere for your dose of lore. Period.
I got it right this time.
How's your life? How's it going?
Boring. Nothing new. Nothing new. How about you?
Well, just getting closer and closer to that wedding date. I don't think I've ever said the date on here before, but I'm getting married on May 5th. 5/5/25. It's so funny. We actually got these tattoos, and I realized that we got them wrong because we have the tattoos of like when he first asked me to be his girlfriend, and the year isn't full. Like it's just 22 right here. So while I was getting my tattoo, I'm like, oh, that's so cool that like 202 is in the date. Because I was like, I'm from DC, whatever. And then I'm like, why didn't I realize this when I got this one? And so I turn and I look and I'm like, oh. I'm like, that's why. And he's literally doing it. And I went first and I'm just like, dang. And it was just a whole bunch of stuff going on before. So I think my mind was just everywhere. So when he showed the tattoo, I was just like, yep, that looks good. Come on.
You were just excited.
Yeah, but yeah, very excited. And it was just also like just some other stuff going on. It was like a bunch going on. So my brain was just moving fast. And I was so focused on the font because I wanted to make sure the fonts matched. Because the two, it kind of looks similar, but I was like, no, I don't curve that way, whatever. So I didn't even notice the full day, but we both like it. It's cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to be getting married. And so we are not going to have, like, how do I explain it? Like the next.
So our next episode is going to be delayed.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Ready to get into the.
Yes.
What do we call this? This is a saga. Does this count as a saga?
Yeah.
Is this? I feel like this is the Drake and Kendrick saga, the UMG saga.
Yes, we're giving updates from that. If y'all don't care about this anymore, let us know. Because, so basically, the update is Drake filed an amended complaint. He added some stuff in it. So a complaint, we've said this before, is how you like start off the lawsuit. In the complaint, you're putting all your grievances. You're like, this is the issue. This is what this person did, and this is what I want from it. And you have a certain amount of time to amend a complaint after certain things are filed, all this other stuff. The rules of civil procedure, we could really get into that nitty gritty. It was never my favorite class in law school, but oh well. So essentially in the amended complaint he filed in federal court, Drake's lawyers are claiming that the Super Bowl and the Grammys were prestigious and high exposure events that introduced new listeners to the allegedly defamatory song. He said, or his lawyers are saying that not only did streams of the recording increase the following of Kendrick, and also people listened to the song. More people were listening to the song for the first time. It also increased like threats to Drake and his family as well.
What a sore
Yeah.
Like, what a sore
Yeah.
loser.
He's like, we still haven't gone anywhere. Like, they did the whole discovery thing, and they granted discovery. This is not I feel like this isn't a big deal. He's basically just adding more stuff in. Nothing's new. I'm like, is this gonna go to trial or not? Let's hurry this along. But lawsuits take a very, 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 very long time. And they haven't even gone through discovery yet, like fully like exchanged information on both sides. Like once that happens, then we'll see what happens. That's what I feel like that's when, the pot really gonna get to boiling. But right now it's like, all right.
I think he's a sore loser, and I loved Not Like Us.
I love that song.
I loved listening to it. I listened to it on replay.
Yeah, no.
Replay.
Yeah.
So even if
Drake need to sue me.
even right, even if UMG did like help push this song, which your record label is technically supposed to do, but like even if they did like push these allegations or whatever further, like oh god, I think he just lost so fucking bad and he just can't take it.
I think that, and because UMG is trying to say like, yeah, we were pushing it. I think they're trying to say that, like, yeah, we were pushing it because it was so popular. Like,
Yeah.
it was a popular song and a popular this. Like, of course we're gonna do that. So it's like, duh. But Drake is like, no, y'all only did this to be against me. So that's where we're at now. And I just honestly, it just feels so stale at this point, which is like, the life of a lawsuit can be like very, very, very long. And it's like, I'm sure the person who is suing feels, vigor and they're like, I have to see this through.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how Drake feels. But right now it's kind of just like, okay.
Okay. This was it this week or it was because Easter was
On Sunday.
Yeah, so Easter was on Sunday and Rowdy Ricch posted a picture of his daughter.
Yes.
So he posted a picture of his daughter, but he has another child, and
a son.
People were wondering why he doesn't post his other child, and his child is autistic.
Yeah, so his baby mother actually like made a post about it, essentially like kind of getting on him for like not posting the son, all this other stuff. I believe that Roddy Ricch's response was like, Easter, they were at like some family's gathering or whatever. The son was overstimulated and he didn't want to take pictures. But now it's become a discussion like on the internet of people with disabilities, whether or not they have consent like to be posted. And because some people are saying, okay, like no matter what, don't just post one child because it looks like you're hiding the child that has a disability. And I think that the rhetoric that people with disabilities can't consent to being posted overall is very ableist and dangerous.
Yeah, like that general statement.
Yeah, that general statement, because there are a lot of different kind of disabilities. I'm like, so you're saying like a person who is nonverbal and autistic and a person who is an amputee, like they both can't consent, so that kind of example where it's like, y'all, you can't just group people with disabilities and make these like generalized statements. I also think like,
even if you take a look at people with intellectual disabilities, like someone who, I don't know, there's actually a woman on TikTok and I was looking for her the other day. I cannot find her. She has a daughter who is 16 who, as far as like intellect goes, like academics goes, her daughter is low performing in the sense that like she's 16 but maybe performing at like a first grade level, but like socially her daughter's fine. So well, I don't want to say fine, but like she performs as like a 16-year-old would, and they both are very aware that she has like a learning disability. But she's on the internet all the time. She posts her child. They make dance videos. They make TikToks.
Yeah.
And she knows the choreography. Like we can't just group, not even just learning or intellect or like what we think of like a mental disability, like what we try to group in as autism or something like that.
Yeah, so just because someone has an intellectual disability doesn't mean they like can't understand like anything ever. That's why it's
Yeah.
important that when people put out, like if the government puts out statements and like think of like executive orders and all this other stuff, they should have plain language versions. There
Mhm.
should be plain language versions of everything meant to teach or inform someone of something so that people who do have intellectual disabilities are able to understand as well. Because it's not like, oh, they just don't understand anything. It could be you using all these kind of words, and it's like,
But that's for everyday people as
yeah,
well.
honestly,
Like,
everything should just be plain language. Because it's like, why you have to use this word? You know?
yeah. Are we ready?
Yes. It's about to go down.
Sinners. Sinners. The best.
Sinners.
This is going to be the best movie of 2025, and I
Ryan
will
Coogler,
not take that back.
the man that you are, Ryan Coogler. I feel like all of the trailers, like looking at all the trailers before the movie started, nothing caught my attention. It was a lot of action movies. X liked them, but I was kind of just like, all right, all
I
right.
saw so when I went to go see Wicked, I saw the trailer for Sinners, and I was like, "Oh,
I think I did too.
this looks really
Hmm.
good." So I kind of already had it in my head that, oh, there's a movie coming out. Michael B. Jordan's going to be in it.
It's gonna be twins.
Um, I don't even think I remember them being twins at the time. I just remember like, ooh, Michael B. Jordan, he go my
Hmm.
ass. It's time. So I was so ready just to see the movie, but then when they said that it's a horror film, I was like, you know what? Okay,
Hmm.
I'll bite.
You don't like horror?
No, I hate it.
I hate it
But
too. I
what's
don't like horror
actually
or suspense.
what's so funny is I used to love it as a child. Like I'm talking about like when I was 5, I used to love Saw. Really weird.
I've still never seen Saw.
I used to love them. I used to watch all of them.
Why? Maybe like, did you really understand what the movie? Like, do you remember loving the movie?
I remember sitting on the couch with my mom watching the movie, waiting, like being excited, like, can we watch it?
Interesting.
Loved it. It's really weird. But okay, let me explain a little bit about myself. So I graduated with my degree in multimedia platform production. So I was essentially taught how to produce media on different platforms. So whether it's audio, video, like graphic design, I can pretty much do that.
She does it all.
Yes. But Morgan State, the way they set up their curriculum, they put the production, they really intertwine production classes and journalism classes together because it's just a very news heavy school. At least, you have different schools inside of like your university. So the school that I was under is called the School of Global Journalism and Communications, SGJC or something like that. Yeah, SGJC. So yeah, in that it was a lot of it was media production, it was journalism, it was like PR, SCOM, like
Hmm.
strategic communications, something else that I'm forgetting, right? But what wasn't a part of my curriculum was screenwriting and animation,
Hmm.
which is very weird, but it allowed me to almost to have two minors because I was taking my media production classes and I
Hmm.
also had to take these journalism courses. But you have to take electives in undergrad, or at least for Morgan State, you had to take
Hmm.
electives. So for my your electives can be any classes outside of your school. Like, so
Yeah.
I'm under the School of Global Journalism and Communication. So any classes that were outside of that school could be electives.
Hmm.
So I decided to take screenwriting and animation, and that allowed for me to kind of minor in screenwriting and
Hmm.
also in journalism because I was like, well, depending on where I want to go, I can go
Yeah.
either which way. So I took a lot of screenwriting classes and creative screenwriting classes. So I took like 2 black film courses. I also took they had like a hip hop film course or something like that. I think I took it for a while, but it was really like hands off. My professor for my black film course was actually Maya Angelou's Maya Angelou. It's Maya Angelou.
I was taught it was low growing up, and then I randomly heard people start saying Lou, like,
Maya
randomly.
Angelou. Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a crazy brain fart of how I've been pronouncing her last name my entire life.
Mhm,
But my professor was her mentee.
mhm.
So
So they
there's
probably pronounce it right, whatever they
yes.
say.
But the first screenwriting and animation course that I took, I had to do a assignment. You have movie reviews and you have movie analysis. So a movie review is when you just talk about how you felt about the movie
Mhm,
itself. M- Movie analysis is when you really hone in on all of the components and the elements and the screenwriting elements and the cinematography, and
okay.
you just lay it all out. So I had to do a film analysis, and I did my film analysis on the movie Moonlight.
Mm,
And when I like really dug deep into that movie, I fell in love with just film and cinematography
mhm,
to the point where I wrote my essay was only supposed to be 2 pages. It ended up being 6.
mm,
And Moonlight is my all-time favorite film of all time. And I can get into
mm.
that in a different time just because of the different elements, right? So seeing Sinners when I was like, because I watched it and then like when you watch it, it's like okay, like everything is just being fed to you. And
Mhm.
then I left and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like all of these messages just started downloading or just all these things that I just noticed just started like coming to me. And then when he was talking about the film that he
Ryan
used,
Coogler?
yes, Ryan
Okay.
Coogler, when he's talking about the actual film that he uses. So it is 70 millimeter film with 15 perfs, which essentially just means the actual film itself, the physical film, like in that's put into the camera is gigantic. The
Mhm,
camera itself is humongous. Like everything was so large and it just when we're speaking about things with intention, it makes so much sense that this movie is going to be so big because they use two camera systems. When you're shooting a movie,
mhm,
you usually only use one camera system,
mhm.
but since he wanted to use the 70 millimeter 15 per film, it, he had to use two camera systems. So you just have this really large camera system that makes so much noise. It
Mhm,
sounds like somebody's cutting grass.
mm,
So the sound isn't even in sync with what's actually going on in the film. Of course, they have to, go back and dub over it. But like in order to see the movie in the way that it was intended, like I keep saying the film itself is big, but like to see it on a screen because they caught so much of the picture and so much of the color and so much of the depth is involved on the IMAX screen, the screen itself has to be about 7 stories high.
mhm,
So in order to see it in the original way it was intended, it has to be on an extremely large screen.
mhm.
You can't watch the 70 millimeter format on a regular screen. It's going to be on the other camera system that was used, the
Yeah,
digital camera
and that's
system.
why they said it's only, like, 7 theaters that
Yes,
have that.
because first of all that film is expensive to make.
Mhm,
So you can't just you can't just have that out there. Like that is really expensive and I'm sure it took a lot of time to just create that. They can't just have that out there willy-nilly.
mhm,
Um so yes. So when if you hear people talking about it and you didn't understand like the film aspect of it, like the physical film, that's why it is so like big or it's such a big deal. Like
it literally is big.
it's literally big. Like I don't know how old everybody is, but the disposal you ever had like disposable camera? Well, now everybody uses them again. But
Mhm,
if you take out the disposable camera and you look at the film, you can't actually see the pictures of it. If you look really close, like maybe you can.
mhm,
It I have a post-it note right here. So it is probably about as big as this post-it note, the actual
mhm,
film, as far as like how wide it is. So you can actually see the pictures of it. It's
mhm.
actually like really big. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry.
That
I
is really
had
big in
to
comparison to the little
the
in
little
the disposable
the
camera.
16 millimeter, 4 millimeter, or the 4 perf 16 millimeter. Um Yeah. Any questions?
Nope, I'm caught up.
So when we talk about screenwriting, like elements or what it takes to just write a film, you have to have characters, you have to have plots, you have to have theme and structure and like formatting. We technically just talked about formatting. Um, and none of these elements work independently, so they work kind of like a car. So
There's multiple things happening at once.
multiple things are happening at once, and they work for
A common
each
goal.
other. Yes. So I'll give an example of this. So if you've watched the movie, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about this movie.
Spoiler alert. So if you watch the movie, Michael B. Jordan plays two characters. He plays a set of twins, Smoke and Stack. If we just get into the characters and their nickname, Smoke and Stack. Smoke Stack is the name of a blues song by an artist, Howling Wolf. It's actually funny who I learned this from. He did a class on blues. That was one of my electives, like my junior year.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So I actually took a class in high school about blues, and I learned about Howling Wolf, and I actually knew the song Smokestack beforehand. So, but when we talk about like our first introduction to kind of what we're going to be, what's going to really be pushing this movie forward, blues, Smokestack. Just something as simple as just naming your characters. It has to have intention like that. The other thing, I'm gonna try to shorten this, but their original the names that they were given at birth are Elijah and Elias.
Yeah.
Elijah is Smoke. Elijah.
I'm dead at the yin yang symbol.
I'm gonna get into why I did the yin yang symbol.
Okay.
Because yeah. Okay, so the story of Elijah in the Bible. The other thing about sinners that you have to know, I mean, you can tell just from the title, but it does have components of religion in it. So the story of Elijah in the Bible is that Elijah is a prophet, and God tells him to go to the city of Israel to free the people from praying to false gods. So Elijah goes to the king. He confronts the king and he tells them to stop, spreading this like false god, or like get all of these like fake prophets out of here or something like that. So the king was like, no. So he was just like, okay, gather all of your prophets and we gonna have a battle. We're gonna have a battle. And it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take two bulls. I'm gonna create an altar. You're gonna create an altar, and whoever prays to their god and whoever can set the bull on fire can, like, that's the true God. So the people who are praying to this fake god, they doing everything they can. They singing and dancing. They trying to set this bull on fire. Mind you, if you keep the plot in mind of sinners, this story will make more sense. But so the people, they singing and dancing and they trying to get this bull on fire. Nothing's working. So Elijah is finally like ready. He like, okay, I'm done.
It's my time shine.
Yeah, he was like, this is my time shine. I'm done with this. So he takes it and he prays and he lights the bull on fire. And then all of the people in Israel see that, okay, Elijah's God is the real God. Let's go back to praying to this God. Elijah then says, since y'all had this like fake, y'all were prophesizing this fake God or whatever,
the false idols,
I'm gonna kill all of you. And Elijah, who is Smoke in the movie, ends up like killing everybody who was singing and dancing to try to make this false kind of hood happen, like this false God happen. If you think about Remick as a god or a prophet, because I think about Remick in the sense that he's Lucifer. Like the first time we see Remick in the film, he's falling out of the sky, which, if you know the story of the Bible, that's Lucifer. Like he falls out of heaven.
Angel.
He's a fallen angel. He gets kicked out of heaven. So that's just as far as like their names. Oh, and then Elias is also another name that's kind of used as Elijah in the Bible. So in different renditions, you might hear Elijah or you might hear Elias. Same story though. And then because I had the yin and the yang, she saw that.
Yes. Put it up.
I drew it very pretty.
Yes, it looks good.
So the yin and the yang. At the end of the movie, well, no. Yeah, the last fight scene between Smoke and Stack, I can't remember which one, but I think it was Stack. He says, "Come on, man, you're the best part of me," right?
Yeah, Stack says this to Smoke.
Yeah, he said, like, "I need you. You're the best part of me." And then at the end of the movie, he says, in the end credit scene, he says, "The last time I saw the sun was the last time I saw my brother." Like, and there's this constant thing between them that, like, one has a piece of the other. Like, for most of the movie, they are not actually together.
Yeah.
But they are working for each other, or kind of like in this like circular motion to like come to this like bigger picture, and keeping a piece of each other. Like, they're always talking about each other throughout. They're not with each other, but they're talking about each other.
Yeah. And people also associate them together.
Yeah, people associate them together.
I feel like I was glad, and I think I saw someone say this about how, like, one's blue, and then the red, and how they weren't like opposite colors and stuff like that, like, because they're not opposite. Like, I like how, like, yeah, we can see that Stack may be more like careless or like hot-headed and stuff like that, but Smoke is not, he ain't no bitch, like, he not going like that. So it's not like one is the good twin and one is the evil twin.
So getting into why one is red and one is blue. Red, which you kind of pick up very soon that Stack is red because he's going to be turned in the end. But the reason why Smoke is blue, and he's wearing a very special color of blue called haint blue. So haint blue is used down south as a way to keep away haints. Haints are ghosts, and you hear Annie say that. She was like, "Oh, I think he's a haint." Also, they're dressed in the same colors. They're both, Annie and Smoke are both dressed in haint blue, because haint is what keeps away spirits. So not only do we get this religious aspect, this like, traditional Christian.
You saying that haint blue is what keeps away the spirits?
Yes.
Okay.
Haint blue like keeps away spirits. So that's another reason why that he's wearing blue, because that is foreshadowing that he's not going to end up like his brother, or that he is also being protected in a way that is not traditionally Christian, because haint blue goes back to like African traditional religion, or like just what we brought over here from Africa, or what we have left from Africa. And that goes into hoodoo, that goes into a little bit of Annie's character. But all of that is just character development for like how the plot is going to go for them two. It's foreshadowing down from what they wear, their names, their nicknames, and even how they behave.
I enjoyed the movie. I know, like, in the beginning, because I felt like Ryan Coogler is so intentional about the things that he does. I found myself in the kind of like, what's one of those movies called? A movie where I know it's like a plot twist or something's going to happen. I make sure like I'm really paying attention in the beginning to all the little things, as opposed to watching like, some rom-com or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, like, let me look at this and all this other stuff. So I felt like more thinking about more overall themes when I was watching the movie. I'm trying to figure out like the first one that I thought about. Well, the fact that the first scene is like him, Sammy all beat up and bloodied and scratched on his face and stuff like that, like going into the church, and there's the whole scene, he doesn't drop the guitar, whatever. The fact that it said the day before, I was like, ooh, it gave me chills. I was like, dang, he really got messed up in a day. Like, and they're really going to show that. Like, this wasn't like a month or anything, whatever. It's like, it literally just shows like how your life can change in a night.
And he honestly, all of that really happened in a matter of a few hours, technically. Yeah. Because most of the night was...
Yeah, he said it was the best day of his life before all that stuff happened.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Sammy's character and the role that he played in the plot, because he
This
is
is his first acting.
yes, this is his
This
first.
is his debut.
Yes, Miles is his name. Um, he is the grounding character, and he is the most. He begins as the most innocent character, really, because we don't know anything about his past. He's a little boy with a guitar.
Who's a preacher's kid.
But what is so interesting, going back to foreshadowing and plot, you know that he is about to be led into temptation, that he is really about to be led into temptation, because when Smoke and Stack come to pick him up and they go and they're at the truck and he moves the leaf, the snake comes out and jumps out at him. Snakes are they represent they symbolize temptation. So
you know, Adam and Eve, the apple,
in so many, not just Adam and Eve, but like even like just temptation in general, snakes. But it starts at the Bible. Like that is kind of one of the reasons why it is symbolized as such. But yes, and he is the grounding force to that movie. And he is the most innocent when it begins, and you see him being led into different temptations. Music, women, alcohol, money, what else? There's a few other things, but I really enjoyed his character. And same thing with Mary's character. I thought Mary's character was interesting.
That's the Octoroon?
No. Oh wait, no. No, you're right. You're right. I'm thinking about Pearline.
Oh.
I'm thinking about Pearline's character as lust, as the representation of lust. Yeah, she was interesting. Mary's character. Let's get into Mary's character.
Miss Mary Mac, Mary.
I'm gonna say this because
Mary and Joseph, Mary.
I am not a stranger to the one drop rule. We know what the one drop rule is. I think what people are forgetting about the one drop rule is the one drop rule applied to how white people thought about Black people or biracial people. But people don't realize that like the one drop rule almost in reverse has been applied to Black people, as in the sense that like, oh, people back then may not have saw Mary as Black people back then may not have saw Mary as Black. And people, because I argued that like she is a white woman, despite her being 15%.
She's white.
But I understand that people feel like, well, the one drop rule makes her not white. I am one of those Black people back then that would have been like, well, Mary's white, even though like, yeah, she cool, and her mama and them, yeah, like
they was helping. She was suckling the teeth,
because essentially what Mary is she's Lilibet, like, you know, Meghan Markle's daughter. That's who Mary would be.
That's Mary.
That's who Mary would be. That is a white woman.
I think thinking about the one drop rule and how I feel like it was originally like seen that way to keep Black people enslaved with like chattel slavery. Like, oh, even there's these plantation owners and all this other stuff that are assaulting Black women slaves, and they're producing these children that are getting, you know, whiter. Just because that's happening doesn't mean that these kids are not Black.
In the film, she is white, and it is very evident to everybody around that she is white. One, because it's not just that she's white passing and she's married to a white man. It's the fact that Stack is very aware that he cannot be seen with her because of the consequences of what it means to be seen with a white woman. And then even more so when you see her in the juke joint later that night, Smoke is like, get this white lady out of here. Stack is like, okay, let me try. He goes against his better judgment. He lets him stay. The white people come to the door. The vampires, they come to the door, and they're like, how is she allowed to be here? She, throughout the film, is a white woman. She really is the only person that's like, I'm Black. But Black people can always tell when somebody is like, you got a little something in you. Because that's why Preacher Boy is like, what are you?
I think that the entitlement her character showed.
Is an entitlement of a white woman.
Yeah, because she was like, let's throw caution to the wind. I want to be here, so I'm here. And it's like, girl, you know, you putting everybody in this room, including you, in
In
danger by doing this.
danger.
Because you were talking about if if they came from her, you're
Right.
gonna be the N-word lover.
Right. And then
Which I think goes to show that like how we talk about. I know it was a big discussion about like allyship and like what that looks like, and it's like the fact that you're willing to put people in danger to like solidify your position or like want to take up space in a space that it just
also
was
this
very
this white savior complex that she has, when Stack is like, yeah, we're not really making the money that we supposed to, she's like, oh, let me go help y'all.
yeah.
When really, girl,
You don't know them people.
you don't know them
You
people.
don't know them people. Who are they?
Like,
Say they are.
right? Why would you let them in when all of the black people just said, no, sister, you're not even supposed to be here, and you a +1 can't +1.
And that's her. Like she can choose when she wants to be which thing. I mean, like race.
Black people can't choose.
She was like, yeah, let me talk to the whites. I got this, guys. And came back.
You know, a piece of the film that I really like is that it's not scary in the sense that like it's super jumpy. There are moments where you jump, but the scariest part is really that it's them white people.
It's the truth.
It's them damn
It's
white
reality.
people.
Yeah, the white people.
It's Mississippi in the middle of the
What
night.
are they going to do?
3 white people just came knocking on the door. That is horrific. That is a horror movie in itself.
One thing that I did want to talk about, I saw this tweet where they were talking about what are their names?
Grace and Bo.
Yeah, okay. So it was a tweet about them, and someone quoted the tweet and was like, what were Chinese people doing when black people were being lynched? And I just thought that tweet was just so like pretty much ignorant, because if we're talking about like the 1860s, a lot of
1900s too.
Yeah, 1900s too as well, but like specifically starting like the 1860s, when Chinese immigrants were coming to America and establishing communities, they're called the Chinatowns. They were literally being burned down like during this time. Like so to kind of insinuate, oh, they weren't doing nothing while we was being lynched. They had their own stuff going on. Like multiple stories of oppression can exist in the same timeline. So essentially, what would happen? Because I wrote an essay on this in my critical race studies class in law school. Essentially, what would happen is let's say someone got sick, and they would like the community, if they wanted that Chinatown gone, would say like, oh, like basically frame as the Chinatown, like all of it as dirty. And they're like, we need to get rid of this because this foreign sickness is going to spread and get other people sick. So they're literally like firefighters, like starting fires and waiting until like the whole place was burned to come to the scene. And it happened a lot in California. I believe like in the Bay. Did it happen in San Diego? I don't know. I gotta double check that. But that tweet essentially just reminded me of it, because I don't think the oppression Olympics get anyone anywhere. Like, I think that's just not helpful at all. Because even we see in the film the natives in the beginning, not beginning, but when they're trying to warn the white lady about like the vampire and stuff like that, it's like, they probably got their whole entire, they got something going on too. So to just think
I love them.
You love them?
Oh yes, because they were like, oh hey, warning. She was like, gun to your face, not listening, and he was like, okay.
Yeah, she had that the clan head in the back. It's like,
we never see them again. And
it's like I'm minding my business.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, it's getting dark. We need to leave. Like I don't. What's the? Is it the magical Negro? The trope, or of the like the black person that is like to save and guide like the white.
Oh yeah.
Character or whatever. In that I'm glad that wasn't there. Like, and they, not that they were black, but even like a POC or whatever, they're not like, oh, we like going out their way to try to save her. It's like, hey, I warned you, Girl, we are gone.
Okay. But talking about Smoke and Annie. Smoke and Annie are now on my list of favorite love stories. Because I actually just made a TikTok like a couple weeks ago talking about my favorite love stories in like TV and film. And I said Louis and Lestat from Interview with a Vampire, Mickey and Ian from Shameless, and Angel and Poppy from Pose. I don't know what it is because all of those relationships are queer, but now it is finally Annie and Smoke, which is a hetero relationship, a
Where would you rank?
heterosexual relationship.
Do you have a rank?
They are my number one.
Okay.
And it is because Ryan Coogler does actually. I don't know if they can compete with Louis and Lestat. Take that back. I don't know. But they are definitely high on the list because Ryan Coogler does an amazing job of allowing Black people to be people. Where when we see Annie's character, she is the mammy archetype. She is a dark skinned, heavy set woman. And usually in film and television, we don't get to see that as a love interest. We know that the mammy archetype has romantic relationships because she has children, and that's why we associate her as a mother, so we know that of her, but we never actually get to see her be intimate and be loved, like a dark-skinned plus size woman being loved and like almost longed and craved, because we see Smoke,
He wants her.
We see Stack making stops along the way, but I think that is Smoke's first stop is to the baby's grave. Because Stack is going around town and he goes to. Oh wait, no, I lied.
He went
no,
to the
Smoke.
store.
Yeah. It was
but
Smoke.
But
it was Smoke
they
that went to the
said
store.
He only smiles once in the movie, and he smiles to Annie.
They are my favorite love story. I love them.
She was like, "Oh, your body has gotten about me."
Oh God. I also really love Smoke's character as like this really old timey stern war veteran. Like he has this calming nature. Like even though he does not have a child in the physical, he considers himself a father, not only to his child who is no longer living, but also to his brother. He really takes care of him and he looks out for him. Like when he tells Preacher Boy, like in a very serious and stern way, that like, no, watch his back.
Yeah,
because he doesn't know how to watch his
over
own.
his brother's. Like it's like, oh, he's like,
no, like for real, like watch over him. Like he was serious about that because like that's like a son to him essentially, because he is he's a father figure throughout the film. Because I mean, hey, well, Stack says that he kills their father on behalf of Stack.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna when he first said it, I was like, oh, like is this a lie or something like that? But it never got like debunked or anything.
It does get brought up, but it only gets brought back up when you think about why Sammy, Preacher Boy, makes the decision that he does, or what leads him to that. The father, Smoke and Stack father, is used as a symbol or almost to foreshadow what is to come, because we know the first thing that we hear about Smoke and Stack's father is that he's a bad man.
Really bad.
He's a bad man. The next time that we hear about him is when Sammy is like, oh, this is like somebody famous's guitar. And Smoke is like, who told you that?
Yeah.
And he says Stack, and he says that was our father's guitar. And
that was deep. No, it was a time before that where he was like, why they couldn't stay in the area, because people were treating them. They're like, there's no way. Smoke was telling Sammy this, like, there's no way that y'all could be good if your father was so bad. Remember, they were saying they went to the town that was like all the Black people or like thriving Black community or whatever. And they were like, they went there, or maybe it was another town, but they were saying like they went there and the people there knew their father, and they were like, there's no way that evil didn't spread to y'all.
Yeah. But and even in saying that evil didn't spread, we know that Sammy's guitar is the brothers or the Stack and Smoke's father's guitar. Now they are first Smoke, Stack, our first cousins to Preacher Boy. And when we first see Preacher Boy have a conversation with his father, it's him telling him, if you keep dancing with the devil, one day he'll follow you home. Because the dad, the entire time, he kind of knows what's about to happen. Maybe not in the sense with vampires and everything like that,
Mhm.
but he definitely knows that this guitar belonged to a bad man. You
Yeah.
keep playing with
And he took
this.
it from under his bed
Yeah,
and
he
had it
was
propped
like,
up.
you keep playing with this, it's gonna follow you home.
Because they
And
were
that's
brothers.
exactly
He
what it
definitely knew
did.
that was his guitar. I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like,
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. He knew the entire time. That's why
Yeah.
he told him, if you keep dancing with this devil, it's gonna follow you home.
I wonder if I'm getting outside of the context of the movie again, but I'm like, I wonder if why didn't the father just tell him like, yeah, that was my brother's guitar? Like, I don't know. Maybe it has to. Maybe I'm thinking too deep. But I'm like, is it church? They
I
just want
think
to
you're
keep
thinking
silent. Like,
too literal.
yeah. I have that issue.
Um, yeah, because the important piece isn't that, like,
Yeah.
you're supposed to, the film is supposed to unfold itself, because what would
Mm-hmm.
happen if so much of the film was revealed as if, like, what am I trying to say? Like, these people all know each other. They don't
Mm-hmm.
need to be recounting certain small details out loud. It would be unnatural if they were.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we see a reunion between this white woman and this black man, and we don't have any context for it at first,
Mm-hmm.
because we don't need to know, because they know. And
Yeah.
then as time goes on and everybody is reuniting, then we get more context into
Yeah. Get more of the
situations.
like
So
background
if
stories and
if it
stuff.
was for him to say, like, this is my brother's guitar, he's a bad man, first of all, he still wouldn't have cared, because we see what happens at the end of the movie, where, like, he still picks up the guitar.
I
He
think
doesn't
he been
necessarily care.
yeah, I know, like, I feel like he been had the guitar. I didn't mean like he tells him in that moment, like, oh, where the guitar came from, but I mean like before, because it's like Sammy's been seen like playing the guitar before, stuff like that. So I'm like, I wonder why it never comes up. It just makes me wonder about the father's relationship with the brother, which once again, that's not in the movie.
Yeah.
But everybody, if it's like notoriously known that he is a bad person, then
Mhm.
it's like his brother gotta know that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I like oh wait, where were we just talking about? You talking about Annie and then we went
Annie
to
and Smoke's love story.
okay.
How I really liked it. And then we talked about the father.
I really like their love story too. Like both of them were protectors of I feel like her like in the community, him with like, his like brother and who else we say?
They were parents.
Yeah, they were literally
They were
parents.
parents.
I love the ending scene where she's like in heaven with the
I
baby
know,
and
she
it's like
was
he gets
so
the whole like
pretty.
that's why I was glad. At first I was like, oh my gosh, like I hope, he does his bad thing, which is killing that man. Like he still gets to
Mhm.
hold the baby. So I'm glad like he still got
I
to hold the baby.
I also really love that it was a choice for him in the end to just kind of like throw in a towel, in the sense that, like, he takes off the mojo bag and he understands that, like, now
Yeah.
the mojo bag has always been there to protect him. So when he takes that off, it's kind of like, oh yeah, this
Yeah.
is it for
The fact that
him.
he wasn't able to buy him because of the bag, I was like,
Yeah, he was literally like, I'm not doing this with vampires. I'm done.
mhm.
War, I've done it. White people and racism, I've done it. I'm done. I'm
I
throwing in
didn't
the
know
towel.
they literally were soldiers. Like I thought he was just saying that as like a euphemism. Like I'm
No,
tough. But
no.
when they showed at the end the little helmets and stuff, I was like, oh, they were really soldiers. Like they were
Mm-hmm.
actually really soldiers.
Yep.
Um, and I like how he ties into because I was like a history major in college, but all the like historical context of everything and how like it just blended so well together, like nothing felt forced. Even when he like the music scene where he's all the past and the future
Mm-hmm.
are together, like it just
And different ethnicities.
yeah, it just like flowed very very well. I was in there like wow, I feel like I feel like that is going to be such an experience for the people in the seeing it how it's supposed to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could just imagine seeing it like that and just feeling like
It was a psychedelic
engulfed.
experience.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a hallucinogenic, like, dream, in a sense, where, like, you were transported into something other.
Oh my gosh, this is random. This is very random. But while when we were at the movie theater, we're sitting down, right? And these two white women come sit next to us. So the white woman is like, they're talking about the movie, and the white woman next to me asks the other woman, she's like, "Are there black people in this movie?" And the lady next to her was like, "Sure." And I'm like, what is going on right
What
now?
the
I'm like, did she say
hell?
this just because I'm sitting next to her? Or like, also the sure is crazy. Like, this is a black movie. Like, no matter how you want to frame it,
It is a
this is
black
a black
film.
movie.
It is a
Like,
black
what?
film.
That was
Absolutely.
crazy. But yeah,
Um, do you think the Asian woman, Grace, do you think that she was wrong for doing what she did?
I think people. I think she did it without consideration of everybody else. I feel like it was a selfish choice. I feel like, she really cared about her daughter. Because when people were saying like she was trying to stop them from going into town, I really don't think they were ever going to go into town. They wanted Sammy. So I didn't really see that. I think she was just like so full of cuz who did she end up killing? Was that her
Her
husband?
husband.
Yeah, I think she was so like full of emotion and
Rage.
rage and all this other stuff. She was like, F it but F it for everybody, not just for herself. She didn't make the choice to go out there and to like try to fight them. She like brought them in. So yeah.
She made, even though it was a selfish decision and she made that decision only for herself. It was the right decision. Strictly speaking about the plot. Strictly speaking about the plot and how we were going to further the plot along.
Oh yeah, they couldn't have just waited till morning.
Completely dropping the metaphors of everything that went in the film. Because before she said that, my thing is, there's nothing stopping them from drawing them out from the juke joint. There's nothing stopping them from setting that place on fire or doing whatever they need to do to get them to come out. They could have easily, them 3 white Appalachian looking people could have easily like went and called the KKK and been like, get them out of this building now, or do whatever y'all need to do to get out. They could have set it on fire. They could have done numerous of things to get them out of that building.
I just think they also needed Sammy. That was, I feel like, his central point. Like, we want you no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
I need to have in my possession like this
And
ability.
it's like half the town is there. So now half the town is vampires? Absolutely not.
Definitely not the church going people.
Well, no. I know all of them, but I'm just talking about, there's a good amount of vampires that are now about to be in this town creeping around at night.
For the movie, it needed to happen, but she did not.
She was thinking about herself.
She was thinking about herself. She's thinking about her daughter, only feeling her emotions. She was like, oh, these people are going to fight with me because they have to fight with me. Like, or what else are they going to do? So I don't know if that brought her a sense of comfort. But we also talk about there have been discussions about like allyship and stuff like that. And I don't think that is that necessarily. I don't think that has a place in this movie. Specifically talking about, what's her name? Chinese lady. Grace and Annie. They're not allies. I think it's just a situation where like they just so happen to be there. They're not trying to be allies to Black people. Like, these people have a shop, they're working in the community, whatever, but that doesn't mean like I'm trying to help with your advancement. Like, I don't think, like, the way that we talk about allyship in 2025, that is not what that looked like in what was that, 1932?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I think because I don't know enough about, because their characters are actually based on real people. There was the town in Mississippi. There were an Asian couple that had 2 stores, because they had stores across the street, one for Black people and one for white people, and they did that on purpose so that way Black people could have a grocery store. Because white people wouldn't do it. So they became this bridge that allowed Black people to get fresh groceries.
Oh, did they interview that woman? I think I saw an interview.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that was a specific woman. Okay, well, without that context, I would have been thinking like, did y'all, like, was this intentional? Or like, I'm thinking about capitalism, like, okay, you have to have a job, you have to do this, but like you're saying, and is that more money if you're able to profit from Black and white people? So I didn't initially go into it thinking from like, oh, benevolent, like, we're going to do this for everybody. I think it's like, during those times, it's like, okay, this is what is profitable. Like not being racist is profitable to me. So that's why I was saying like I think people are trying to come at a lens from allyship that doesn't fit. But if I'm gonna go watch that interview to see if that like changes my mind.
Yeah. We're bouncing around as far as it comes to themes, but there was a conversation on TikTok around there being a hole in the movie as far as how come Mary and Stack did not have that same hive mind mindset. Because while everybody else is still out there with Remick, they're gone. And we don't really fully realize that until the end of the movie, until the mid-credit scene. And they're like, oh, yeah, they got away. And it's because people felt like that's not explained of like, why don't they have the same like hive mind? And I think it is because he's a twin. Because no matter the connection that he has to Remick, he'll always have a piece, going back to the whole yin and yang thing, he'll always have a piece of Smoke, something that is living or something that is real in himself. And then Annie has this Mary has this long craving just to be with him.
Yeah.
So she gonna go with him, and he has this, he's still, in the entire time that he is a vampire, he has this sense of self because of the connection that he had or has with his twin.
So when I was watching it, I actually thought that I felt like there was something that clicked. Like the moment that
They killed Annie.
Smoke kills Annie, like there's a look of horror on like Stack and Mary's faces. Like they're kind of just like, but I'm like, they didn't care about her. So why are they so like horrified at this? And I think it was, the fact that he was able to kill someone like he loved so much for her not to become that. I don't know. But I felt like when I saw that scene, I was like, oh, like something just clicked for them right here. Like they really looked like horrified.
Like they really realized that a piece of their humanity is like, because
not necessarily about that, but I think just him choosing to do that, like, he like they're kind of like, okay, everybody's dead and we're all gonna be dead together and we're gonna be happy, but she didn't want that for herself. And he's like, okay, I'm not willing for you to be a vampire just so you could live, just for me, like for me to feel better. Like you're still kind of gonna be around at least as a vampire. It's like, no, like just you're gone.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm saying like I think that I think they wanted her because remember we talk about their parents. She takes care of everybody. Like seeing a character who is that monumental in your life like that go when they were on the brink of like becoming into your new community, I think that is kind of like what snaps them into. I think it's that when they realize that like, oh, this isn't going how we thought it was going to go, and now we're losing. We are now losing pieces of ourselves that we needed to feel whole.
Yeah, we're not gonna get everything.
Yeah, and it's also so interesting that like he honors his brother's wish.
Yeah,
he doesn't kill
He leaves him alone.
Yeah, he leaves him alone. He lets him.
But it's also like they're not driven by like this outrageous, I just want to murder this person. So I'm not like too shocked. I think he also was saying leave, like just let him be, like let him live his life.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
But not in the sense that like don't kill him, but just like don't bother him, like stay out of his life. Because
Smoke is the one that tells Sammy to like just chill out. You don't need to put the gun in his
head. He's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like they really loved each other. And I really loved that, like seeing that like brotherly bond where it's like, it's not that one of them was like secretly jealous of the other or like they were going to betray each other or anything like that. Cause I feel like that can be a trope when it comes to like, you know, brothers or something like that, where it's like, oh, one is secretly jealous or, you know, and they use that to betray. I'm thinking about Mufasa.
And then what's so funny is we're talking about it like it's two different people. Michael B. Jordan does such a great job of conveying two different people and who are supposed to be twins are so similar, but they're so different that like you forget that Michael B. Jordan is playing
I was like, oh, this is the Parent Trap
Like,
up in here.
yeah, he's playing 2 different people.
Do you think that Sinners could have a sequel or prequel? I know a lot of people have been yearning for that online.
I do not. And I'm actually going to talk about an interview that I heard with Ryan today, where he talks about
Ooh,
how
first name basis.
Yes, Ryan, because that's my cousin Ryan.
Her.
He talks about pretty much how the movie is kismet, where there are so many different moving parts that it took to get this movie together, that they all of these puzzle pieces fell in perfectly at the right time. So this is Ryan Coogler's first original film, because the first film that we seen from him is Fruitville, but that's based on someone else's story.
Yeah.
And then we also see the Black Panther, but that's owned by Marvel. So this is his first film, original film. Yeah, Creed as well.
Rocky.
This is his first original film. And he talks about how it was finally time, because he's at a point where his life where he and everyone he knows are no longer like the youngest people in the room, and that they are these professionals, and everyone is so busy, and they also are parents now. He has children. His wife is pregnant currently. Well, I think that was his wife that I saw. Yeah. But there's a lot of things going on. So when he started to make the film, I believe someone in his family had just passed, and he is from the South, and he said that this
family member.
Yes, this family member. No, his family's from the South.
Oh, but not him specifically.
No, not him specifically, but like his family's from the South. His roots are in the South.
That's a lot of Black people in California.
Yeah, and his family, someone in his family died, and he talks about how like not only did someone in his family die, but someone in Jack O'Connell's family dies, and Jack O'Connell is Remick, and that person in his family is Irish. So now you have people all at the same time grieving people who, in the film, their heritage is expressed in the film.
Because that family member taught him about blues. Right?
Yeah. So it just all ended up kind of being kismet, where Ryan said that he would be dumb to try to make that happen again, just because everything was so magical. Like it all fell into place so easy. I also just think that, like what you were saying earlier, because we talked about it earlier, that people need to be okay with like not having more or not knowing anymore. Like I remember
like there being unanswered questions.
Yeah, I remember when people were like, "Oh, we need another Hunger Games," or like, "We need another prequel," or "We need another like."
She just came out with another prequel.
No. After that one came out, people are constantly like wanting more. More. But I also think that Black people in specific are really craving the genre of Black sci-fi, and we just need a series that will not be taken from us. Like, how many power books are we gonna get? Even though he's taking those away, but like, how many powers are we gonna get? How many the Shy? How many the Wires are we gonna get? Like, can we get some Black sci-fi? Like, they took Lovecraft Country from us. They took all of the Black characters, or the prominent Black characters, out of American Gods. Like, damn, can we have something?
We needed this.
Like something else. I don't think that people really want a prequel or a sequel as bad as they really just want Black sci-fi.
Need more stories.
Yeah, just need something other, something different.
Yeah.
Which is why that's usually what I read. Typically the only books I read are Black sci-fi books. Or I've read another.
Have you seen the trailer for that new Jordan Peele movie?
Girl, can't wait. Him.
Yeah.
That's my that's actually really funny, because
when they did
it's my boyfriend's name in my phone.
Jordan Peele.
No, him.
Oh.
Him.
I was like, what?
Yeah, random fact,
but yeah. So there's so much other stuff about. So we could talk about Sinners forever and ever. We want to talk about how they said that girl tweeted that Annie she thought Annie was Smoke's mother or whatever. Get into how like he didn't drop the guitar at the end.
I could talk more about how it was filmed, like the actual producing of the film, but
post credit scenes, but we're gonna leave it here.
Y'all, we gotta go to bed. It's time.
Yeah, it's late. We did it late today. If y'all have any questions, like ask us. And we'll get back to y'all. But
for now,
yeah.
See y'all in not 2 weeks.
Yes. Did we mention that at the beginning?
Yes, we did.
Okay, yeah. Next time you see me, I will be married.
She will be a married woman. All right.
Peace.
Bye
to you. You know that's from? You know what that's from?
I do, but I can't think of it. It's on the top of my head.
You got it.
It's not Martin. I can see it. Like, I can see it.
Yeah. You got it.
God. Okay, I need a clue.
What's that stripper movie? Ballers? Players Club. Who the main character?
The light-skinned lady?
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of that show? I see the clips all the time. I know who it's produced by. I know it's produced by Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. What's the name of the show? I see it all the time. Her character's name is Niecy. I see it all the time. It's like, This Is Us. This is it. Just tell me.
All of us.
All of us.